I'm speaking to you in the newly renovated parlor, which is now a conference room, and will be available to our officers as well as to small groups and Sunday school classes for use from here on out. It's been lovely renovated under the care of Linda Ralston, and so we're very grateful for that. But what I want to share with you today is the epilogue of what I had called the Happy Hour with the Keverend. This is set up into three different sections. The first one is inclusive of music that I had valued and had forgotten to include, or just didn't have the place to include it in my earlier round. And so with your newsletter, you have gotten an art or a insert for the newsletter about this epilogue, and so I want to share with you some of the music that's there and make comment on a few of the pieces. Simple Man by Leonard Skinner is something that I don't listen a lot to Leonard Skinner, but I do like this song because it's grounded. It keeps me grounded in a sense of we're called to be fully human and accessible to people, and that song conveys that for me. From the Beginning by Emerson, Lake and Palmer, it was included because it's a call for me to be here, and I have felt that throughout my ministry here, that this is where I'm supposed to be, and this is a divinely blessed calling for me to be here with you all. Aretha Franklin has always been somebody that stirs my soul, and I intended to include Bridge Over Troubled Waters and her version of it at an earlier time. Certainly the Simon and Garfunkel version, which is the original, is stirring in itself, but Aretha takes it to a different level, and I think you'll enjoy listening to that. And then finally in that section, People Get Ready by Rod Stewart, and it is one that the depth of it, and the sense of preparation that we're called to do in life, to live our lives constantly in vigilance and readiness to encounter God. Then a little bit of sense of humor. A Bronx cheer for COVID. If COVID has done anything, it has disrupted our lives and turned everything upside down in such a way that we need to realize that although this has been reality, it is a very distorted reality for our lives because we have been robbed of the personal contacts with each other. So I chose Joe Walsh's A Life of Illusion as a way of just thumbing my nose in a little Bronx cheer. And then finally, one of the things that I've valued most is the chance to be fully present with people in the key moments of their lives, and baptism is one of them. Hot Tuna is a group that I used to listen to, and it is one from some of the members of the Jefferson Airplane, Jarma Kaukonen and Jack Cassidy. And their song, Water Song, is just a tribute to baptisms. The Charge, which is the next section of that happy hour, I think one of my favorite songs that I've ever heard, and it's because of the guitar riffs in this song. It's by Dave Mason. Look at You, Look at Me. It is, I think, quintessential as far as hearing a guitar played in such a stirring way, and it also connects me with that sense of grief that is part of my life these days and will be for some time, but I'm this is one of the ways that I work through that grief. Then, along those same lines, one of my early groups that I was most interested in was The Who, and Love Reign O'er Me on the Quadrophenia album is one that, again, is very stirring to my soul and uplifting in a pretty vibrant way. Then in the Benediction, Jesse Colin Young does a mournful rendering of Darkness, Darkness, and again, the focus for a lot of this music at this point is on the transition, both the highs of a sense of accomplishment that I feel, but also the sense of loss that is very much a part of my life right now as I move away from daily active involvement in people's lives and move into my own retirement and opening up to some new direction. Bad Company Seagull does that same kind of, follows that same kind of thread and movement. And then the Pretenders, 2,000 Miles, you know, it comes across as a Christmas song. And so it has that pealing of the bells sound in it, but it's also a sense of you've gone away, and there's a way for me to, as I've listened to that and some of the other music here, it just allows for that sense of grief to be embraced and understood and moved through. Then Jim Croce's I Got a Name is one that I think really conveys for me a connection between me and my father, who was also a Presbyterian minister, and I have felt throughout my life that I've been able to stand on his shoulders and move on to the next level. And so this has been a recognition that as I look back on my ministry here at this church and throughout my career, it is a sense of gratitude and also a recognition that I've accomplished my goals that I had set out for me. And there are still many to go, but regarding pastoral leadership in a church, I feel very satisfied and complete with that. Then probably the most mournful piece that's in this is Time by Alan Parsons. When I graduated from college, the next 2 years I was really kind of struggling, trying to figure out where am I supposed to go, what am I supposed to do. Alan Parsons' I, Robot came out about that time, and so I listened a lot to that record. In fact, I wore the grooves out of that record, just about. And yet this piece came out later in the Trick of a Card album. And Time is really a sense of moving on, and it's over, and there's a sense of completion involved in that. And then Pat Metheny's Long Train Home. In the early 80s, I started listening a lot to jazz, and Pat Metheny's jazz fusion sound is one that I have thoroughly enjoyed his music. In fact, many mornings at the church over the past 13 years, I have listened to Pat Metheny as I'm working, and just the melody and the tunes that he's able to come up with his guitar are phenomenal. And this one really is a sense of completion. Long Train Home. And then the final piece is by the Moody Blues. And it is a sense of what I need to be doing now at this point in my life, and that is entering more into the internal interior space of life, and Moody Blues is one way of engaging that for me. I share it with you out of a sense of deep love for this church, but also I have wanted, through this music and through the music that I shared earlier this fall, to give you a sense of who I am, the greater sense of who I am, beyond just being the guy in the pulpit or the guy that is the pastor of the church. This gives you a little bit deeper insight into me as a person, and that is, if you will, my final gift to you, that I look forward to your being able to share it with me. I love you all, and take care, and God's blessing and peace be with you all in all that you do.